Hey guys, hope you're doing well out there. I feel like I've been a bit quiet since the launch, and there's a reason for that. I took 5 steps back in my health. I think my body was hanging out to the launch a couple of weeks ago, and the day after I got slammed by a cold flu thing. I got COVID tested, which wasn't fun, but you can still notice the gravel in my voice. And then I got some gut troubles after that, and a whole lot of stress. And I've just been to Noosa with the family just for some time away during the school holidays. So I'm wanting to get back on the horse. I've got some episodes up, of course. My latest episode is from Daniel Hackett, the researcher, exercise in IBD and the effects of exercise on inflammatory bowel disease and any disease, as a matter of fact, exercise as medicine. So if you haven't listened to that one, there's a few highlights up of that episode on my YouTube channel. So check out the highlights to see, get a feel for the content. And hey, if you have or have not listened to the podcast yet, I definitely recommend giving it a listen. I'd love to get your feedback. But also, some of the podcasts are around an hour long, and you might think, I don't have an hour. But the great thing is you can listen to the podcasts audio only. And not only that, so you can, do the vacuuming or do your exercise workout or whatever you want to do while you're listening. But I definitely recommend when I'm listening to podcasts, if you're not a seasoned podcast listener, is I put it on to 1.5 speed, which you can do in the settings, or you can even go to 2 times speed. So that means that you're just listening to, say, an hour-long podcast, really take you half an hour. So a quick, job, whatever you've got to do during the day, you could listen in the car for a short trip. You could listen to a whole hour or more podcast in a shorter space of time, and you kind of get locked in. You still sort of get the crux of it. So I definitely recommend that. You can do that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can even do that on YouTube, just in the settings if you're watching on YouTube. So again, love to get your feedback, guys. One thing I want to talk about in this update is something I have come to really get so much value out of, particularly when I'm in a bad way health-wise and I'm feeling pain in my body, my head. Again, I struggle with brain fog, and that builds a stress. I get anxious sometimes in social situations. Hey, I want to be honest. I'm putting out there my health condition because I really want to push into these things and help others out there struggling with the same things. So they don't feel alone, but 2, get some help to know what to do and how to get through it. But what we've got to remember is that this is not, if you are looking to optimize your health through a holistic body approach, it's not going to happen overnight. All right, there's no quick magic pill. In fact, it's 1%, 2%, 5% little tweaks to your health that are going to add up to a big, significant impact over time. And so don't forsake those things. But you've got to be able to enjoy the journey. Enjoy sounds like a weird word to use, and maybe it's not the right word to use. So if you're really suffering, maybe you're in hospital. I know plenty of IBDers and people with Crohn's disease are in and out of hospital all the time, and life just seems to suck. And certainly when you feel into your body, everything sucks. You do not want to be present in your current situation, and it seems almost offensive to someone to go, hey, be present and enjoy the journey. What I have learnt through just practicing some meditation, and I'm no way a guru, but when you combine the idea of meditation and being present and being an observer of what's happening in your life with being able to cope with chronic pain and poor health issues, it just gives you some bit of space around what you're feeling, instead of always feeling negative about what's happening and wishing you were somewhere else and wishing you didn't have this and wishing you didn't have that. If you're rejecting your current situation, that is the textbook. That's suffering right there, right? And you can start to limit that suffering by just observing it rather than identifying and feeling all the negative feelings of what that is. Like not just it hurts now, but when am I ever going to get over this? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm going to have this for the rest of my life. All these stories we tell ourselves, right, that just add to the stress, and then stress also adds to our poor health, and it's a terrible cycle. But I encourage you today, if you can at least take 5 minutes or 10, 20 if you've got it, just to sit with and feel the angst in your body, feel what's happening in your mind. For me, that's been a whole lot of like, oh, what am I doing? How am I going to, is my health going to hold up to be able to do this podcast, to be able to get good content out there in time? All of these things, and feeling like I've bitten off more than I can chew. And I'm just going to sit with those thoughts, with those thoughts, and not sort of own them as if they're true, because, newsflash, probably 95% of the thoughts that you think are just thoughts, and they aren't actually rooted in any sort of truth. They probably won't happen. They're probably stories of, that you've made up about situations. They're not true. So if you can just sit with those thoughts and not try to chase or push anything away, notice things of what you reject when you sit. Notice what you reject. Is it your current situation? Is it your pain? Notice the things, whatever it is that goes, if only this was different. If only I didn't have this. For me, that's been a huge, if only I didn't have this brain fog, I'd be so much more effective on camera. If only I didn't have this constant pain in my legs, I would be able to sit for long enough to be able to do some more research, and I'd be able to build some, but stuff it. I'm going to just acknowledge those things and give my attention to them, recognize them, and what that does is bring it into this, from the unconscious kind of story that you tell yourself that you seem to not have any control over, but it brings it into the light of the present moment, consciousness. And that for me has been a huge change, and also not putting that negative connotation on what we're feeling, and even our emotions. If you can even recognize emotions, all of these things, all of these barriers, all of these rejections of what is, if you can recognize what you're rejecting and just make a mental note of it, it's just this freeing effect, and it allows you to, okay, I'm okay with my current, I'm not going to be in this, if you're in a pit, I'm not going to be in this pit forever, but right now this is my current experience, and I'm going to make mental note of it. Instead of adding to my suffering, I'm going to recognize where I am, and even start to tell a different story. This is where I am right now. Imagine what it's going to feel like when I am better health. That's going to be awesome, and I'm going to actually appreciate where I've come from. So I'm at work now. I hope you guys, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you got something to take away. Again, 5, 10, 20 minutes of just sitting with and recognizing and not pushing away what your current experience is. And I know that for me, I've found a lot of benefit in that, and a lot of peace. There's a peace that comes. There's a peace that washes over. And so I hope you get a lot out of that, guys. We've got another episode coming in on Monday, dropping on Monday for the Everybody Knows podcast, and I'm going to announce who that is very shortly. Have a great day.